had session, we can. For those who are just joining us for the first time, this is a health education session where we have different nutritionists, dietitians, and other health professionals come in every Tuesday to provide more knowledge about how we can live a healthy lifestyle and attain general wellness. So, men's health, that's what today's focus is about. Now, health for women is sort of different from the health for men. It's almost similar, but recommended nutrient intake do differ. Now, in one of the datas that was done recently on men's health, it showed that a very low percentage of men meet the daily recommended intake of fruits and vegetables. In all fairness, even women, most women actually don't meet that recommended daily intake, but they are by far higher than men. Now, research has also showed us that women are way ahead of men when it comes to getting enough minerals and vitamins. This is a very delicate thing it's a very interesting topic to have. And we have our health professional here, Mr. Chukwudi Letsa, who is going to be teaching the men and giving us more information on how to optimize nutrition for the better health of men. Over to you, Mr. Wise. Please also don't forget to pop all your questions in the chat box. Whatever questions you have, you might not be a man, you can be a female, but you have men around you. So whatever questions you have, please pop your questions into the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and ask your questions. Over to you, Mr. Wise.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope I can be heard well.
Yes.
And also seen, and my slides also visible.
Very visible.
Good. So I want to thank Khan for this opportunity to share with you and our cherished men once more. Sunday, when Father's Day was being celebrated, we felt special. And we are still in the mood. So let's top it up with all these points that I'll be sharing. And I believe we'll end up being healthier men because in most societies, we carry the whole family on our shoulders. And so we have to be healthy first before we can do the works that are required of us. So I'll go through the outline. They're going to take a look at the pot belly in men, and men are stressed. Then we'll talk about sex, and then the burden of non-communicable diseases on men, prostate cancer burden, alcohol usage in men, and then I summarize in key messages. But then through all these subtopics, we are looking at nutrition, right? I mean, what can nutrition do about pot belly in men? What can nutrition do about stress, etc.? Till we end the discussion. So the pot belly is seen by many in society as men's sign of economic stability. So if you're a man and your belly is becoming bigger, it means that you are doing well economically, you are making more money. You are actually seen as a real man if your belly is big. Mostly we call it a beer belly as well. So when men do drink and all that, they have the things that they do when they meet as men. So these are the signs that you are doing well in all aspects of life, right? But then I was traveling earlier today, and at the airport, I saw a man with a huge pot belly, and I was asking my assistant, so why is it that when people's pot bellies begin to develop, is it that they don't see it? Why do they allow it to become so big? And it became a whole big conversation. And also having in mind the kind of information I came across while I was preparing for this presentation, the issue came up that, right, well, it goes beyond health. They see it as a societal or status symbol, kind of, right? Meanwhile, the pot belly or the abdominal fat is a sensitive predictor of cardiovascular events or diseases, right? So when you have pot belly, it means that there's a lot of fat around your viscera, around the intestines area, around most of the body organs, the liver, kidney, and all that. And it's directly means that the fat around your heart is also thick. It's a lot, right? So there is this direct relationship between the development of heart attacks or onset of heart attacks and pot belly. So the higher the belly, the more dangerous it is, right? So I want everybody out here in this meeting to take this message home, that the pot belly should not be seen as a status symbol, shouldn't be seen as a sign that a man is doing well. It's actually a sign that a man is falling ill, right? And so it has to be dealt with. Now, there are two major representations of our body shapes so far as fat distribution is concerned. We have the apple body and then the pear body. Mostly men assume the apple body, that is, most of the fat around the midsection being above the waistline. And women usually will assume the pear body shape, that is, most of their fats occurring below the waistline, so in their thighs, in their hips, and all that. Now, from studies, when the fat is above the waistline, it's more dangerous. Like I said earlier in my explanations, the fat above the around the belly, above the waistline, is a sensitive predictor of heart conditions, right? So men do usually bear the apple body shape, and women do bear the pear body shape. This also makes it more difficult or more burdensome when it comes to some of these heart conditions for men, even than women, right? So we have to really, really take steps or work hard to reduce the pot belly. It is not something that any man should be happy about. So late night intake of starchy foods and fatty foods, let's underline the word starchy foods and fatty foods, is one of the causes of pot bellies. So if late night, let's take the time from 7 p.m. going. Temperatures globally will be lower when the sun sets, and it doesn't help with the rate of metabolism or in speeding up metabolism. What also happens is that we end our day, so we are no longer active, physically active. So the food you eat after 7 or after 8 or after 9 p.m., the body doesn't get the opportunity to burn it or utilize it. And that is when it becomes fat, because the body will store it. And if you eat in the night, one of the fastest ways to increase the pot belly or the abdominal circumference, right? So men, let's work on the time that we eat. And also intake of alcohol with proteins, especially at night. So the things that men do, usually one of them is that they meet. They meet, they talk about politics, they talk about sports, they meet at the pub, they watch games, and they don't just watch with their eyes, they also use their mouth. They drink beer, they eat proteins like pork, grilled pork, and all those kind of things. And these proteins come with a lot of fat. The alcohol also comes with a lot of energy. And taking them in the night will definitely cause problems. It doesn't mean that when you take them during the day, the belly is any safer. The only point is I'm trying to drive home is that the effect is felt much more easily, or it happens much more easily if you are taking these things at night. And these are associated with the lifestyle of men. It's very common to see men doing stuff like that in the night. General body aerobic exercise should be the go-to exercise for pot belly reduction. So if you are engaging in aerobic activity, activities that make you pant for more air, like running, jogging, like swimming, dancing, and stuff like that, you are at a better or in a better position to reduce the pot belly, because those exercises encourage the burning of fat from everywhere in the body. Right. So before you begin to focus on tummy trimming activities and all that, get used to general aerobic exercises joining clubs, walking, and all that, so that you can have an attack, let me put it that way, on the fat in the belly, right? So we should aim for a drop in the belly circumference. So at any particular point in time, men or everybody should aim for a reduction in the belly circumference or the abdominal girth. It doesn't matter by what margin. Just make sure that when you measure it today, you measure it in a month, it's reducing. But then there are certain standards, 40 inches or 101 centimeters. Those can be used as guides, but you can also have your belly circumference reading below 40 inches and it might still store a lot of fat. So that is why I advise that we should always aim to reduce it, not to increase it. So anytime you see a sign of it going up, do something about it. You don't wait till it becomes so much or so huge before you begin to tackle it, right? Sometimes it becomes too late. So when it forms a fully loaded one pack, then it's more difficult to deal with. But when it used to be 6 packs and then it merges into 3 packs, that time you start working on it, you can easily gain the 6 packs back. But then I'm not saying or challenging anybody or any man on the call to go for 6 packs. No, just aim at reducing the abdominal circumference, and it is going to really, really do a lot for your heart, for other conditions as well. Now, stress in men. In most homes, men are the breadwinners with tons of financial responsibilities, and this cannot be overemphasized. I mean, it's just the fact that men really go through so much: the school fees, the house rent, the mortgage, family pressure here and there, and some men even make it worse by trying to follow peer pressure. So what their peers are doing, somebody has changed their car, you also want to change. Somebody has built a new house, you also challenging yourself to do same. Unnecessary pressure. I call it unnecessary because, I mean, men, we have to be content with what we have. So if you have one house and a friend builds 3, that should not make you or kill yourself to also get 3, because even in that one house, the space that you sleep on, it's very little, right? So if you have shelter over your family, it's enough not to really go into challenges here and there. I'm not saying that men should not be ambitious, but then if you have to buy something which costs, I'll use £1 because of your location, something that costs £1 and you don't have that £1, the way you feel, that is stress. You don't have it, you will not get it, so you feel bad. That is one of the best definitions of stress. So if you challenge yourself with so many accomplishments and then you are not really getting the resources to be able to purchase them or to afford them, you are stressing yourself. I mean, let's accept and allow only positive stress. So ones that will make us work better, ones that will help us take care of our family and stuff like that, and leave the unnecessary ones, right? So that we can be healthier, because stress, though psychological, can result in physical ailments, conditions that you go to the hospital, they run labs and do all sorts of investigations. There'll be nothing wrong with your organs. There's nothing wrong with your system, but then you are not well. That is stress. You see, now stress can progress to burnout and it can lead to death. So we have to really, really manage the source of the stress. Now, these are some of the effects. I threw light on some of them of stress on the body. It can affect the skin, it can affect the gut, it can affect the reproductive system. Immunity can go down, the muscles, it can have tension and inflammation and aches, cardiovascular system, the heart, high blood pressure, increased risk of heart attacks and strokes and all that. So these little things that we bring upon ourselves can lead us into serious conditions that can really, really even shorten our life or take the joy out of our everyday life. So we have to manage stress. From research, fruits and vegetables contain these nutrients: copper, zinc, manganese, vitamins A, E, and C, and these vitamins and minerals, they work to neutralize the harmful molecules produced when the body is under stress. So some of the free radicals and all that, vitamins E and all that, C, they are antioxidants, they can help deal with them. So we have to just ensure that we are eating some of the fruits and vegetables and eating them on a daily basis, right? Because no matter what, you can manage stress and its source to the best of your ability, but then they will still come, right? There'll still be stress. So let's ensure that we are gaining nutrients that can really help the body to win over anything that stress will throw at us. High fiber intake has been associated with greater alertness and decreased perceived stress. So where do we get the fiber from? From our fruits, from our vegetables, from whole grain cereals. We know them. So we have to add the fiber-rich foods, the oatmeal, the nuts, beans, fruits, vegetables, the leafy vegetables, vegetable stew, salads, and all that. On a daily basis, we should consciously consume all these things. In Sylvia's introduction, she made reference to some research which pointed to the fact that men don't meet certain requirements of nutrients, right? So compared to women. So why should we? Is it because the women mostly cook the food that they are gaining the nutrients? No, but because men, we are too much in a hurry, we are too much stressed, we don't enjoy the fruits of our labor. So most of the time, men will work hard, then they will die, then they leave every wealth to their widows, their children. It's good that when you pass away, you leave a lot of money for people you left behind. Nobody should make the mistake of dying and not leaving enough money behind, right? The family will suffer. But then please, once you make the money, make sure that you enjoy with healthy foods, right? Not the unhealthy ones, so that you can also feel happy. And not that the children alone should be happy and all that, right? I know we have to throw in sacrifices from time to time for the family to get what they need, but then let's minimize the hardship that we met out to ourselves. Now, the other strategies to cope with stress or manage stress, walk out. So when you walk out in the estate, in the area, you see vehicles moving, you see people walking about, that alone helps you to distress a lot. It's far, far, far better to walk out. There are great benefits in walking even indoors, but then when you step out of your room or your house, you are going to gain more benefits in terms of management of stress and all that. And areas like walking by the beach, I mean, I know that many men will shrug it off when I read out this point that you should walk by the beach, because where is the time? We are busy. We have to meet deadlines. We have to do this. There's no time for a place like the beach. But then we need it, right? So once a while, even if it's once in a month, if that is too often, once in a quarter, try and do something. If that is not even attainable, once a year, do a vacation or something so that you can really distress. Walking in the woods is one of the best ways you connect with nature. You hear the birds chirping, you hear some animals, maybe sometimes the greens and all that can really settle your brain and help you to manage any battles that will be going on in there, right? Now, we'll talk a little more about sex.
I think before we move to the next session, I just wanted to find out if anyone has got any question with the conversations we've had so far. So Mr. Wise has spoken about men and pot belly. He has also spoken about men and stress, how stress tends to affect the men. So does anybody have any question or anything they would like him to clarify, or any comment at all that you would like to add? Anything? I've personally got a comment. So I think it's with the pot belly one. So you know how I like the fact that you mentioned the exercise, and you were specific with the exercise and said aerobic exercise. Now, from what I have seen with research and even practical experiences with dealing with some patients, men actually believe that they pay more attention to physical activity than diet. they'll rather do more physical activity and forgo their diet. I've had patients who come in and say, oh, they want to just lose tummy fat, they want to lose belly fat. Okay, you want to lose belly fat, but are you going, when you ask them, are you physically active? They tell you yes, they're physically active, but what they're doing is they're just strength training. They're not doing that cardio part. They're not doing enough of their aerobics. Their diet is even not arranged. So I was really happy when you mentioned that and brought that up. I think men need to start paying attention to their diet as much as they pay attention to their physical activity also. I think I just wanted to drop that comment on that. Has anybody got any questions, anything in the chat box or anything at all? Okay. No, we haven't. Yes. You can go on then, Mr. Wise. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Sylvia, for adding on. And now we are going to discuss the subject matter of sex and then bring in nutrition, some nutrition connections. So there's this thing about men having to perform sexually and please their female sexual partners. And that puts a lot of stress, let me use that same word, on them. And so how long they last really is a big issue. So at the end of the day, a man wants to last long in bed so that they can boast about it when they meet their peers and they are chatting about it. Then they also have their women, and we are always being told that we are not romantic. We are always, there's a lot going on. And when we want to react, the things that we do end up making us lose it or worsen our health, right? So men are willing to go any length just to be able to perform well in bed. They even sometimes stop taking their BP drugs or hypertensive drugs because some of the hypertensive drugs lower pressure everywhere, so they are not able to, they lead to erectile dysfunction. So men will drop their hypertensive drugs and just so that they can perform sexually. Now, when you drop your hypertensive medicines, the consequences are dire. You can develop a stroke, you can lose your life, but they are ready to risk it just for the right levels of performance. But then we have to really take good care of ourselves, prepare better for sexual performance, so that we don't end up in a situation where we end up doing the wrong things. And a lot of the performance aids, they will increase your blood pressure at the end of the day, and they will not even make you perform well forever, right? So they leave telling effects on your health, and then that can be very dangerous. But if we focus on eating well, we have focus on maintaining a good body, a healthy body, a strong body, we'll be able to also attain all the pleasure and high performance levels that society has set for us, right? So from my research or information gathering, I found out that black raspberries may enhance libido and endurance. So due to the plant chemicals that it contains. So, I mean, throw some into your mouth, chew some, and I'm sure nutritionally you can gain some help from them as well. And as another food that I came across.
Sorry to cut you short. Just before you continue, someone's got a question. We've got a hand up. So I was hoping we can take it just before we continue. Yes, Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. I wanted to ask the question earlier, but I was interrupted with a phone call, so I want to take you back a bit. So okay. I think in addition to the aerobic training, one has to include strength training. It's very necessary because that one even boosts testosterone. And as we grow, we need the muscles to survive, to prevent falls and other things. So yes, it's nice to do your aerobic training. That's fine, that's perfect. But you also have to make sure you go to the gym, and that also boosts your self-esteem. So it's just something I want to add to your contribution. I mean, your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks so much, Emmanuel. Of course, I mean, the we cannot overemphasize the benefits of strength training. So thank you for drawing our attention to it. But then in dealing with pot belly, there's a need not to concentrate only on the strength training. So that's the message we pass across. The WHO recommends that even in managing diabetes and all that, some strength training is necessary for the muscles to remain active metabolically, and they take up glucose and all that. So thank you for the addition. Thumbs up. Thank you very much. Yeah, so another example of food that can do something nice about our sexual lives as men, pine nuts. And so just throwing a few pieces because of the arginine, which the body converts into nitric oxide, and then it dilates the blood vessels or relaxes them. It helps in the whole process, right? And avocados, they also have vitamin B6. It's known to help in hormone production, so the sex hormones, and it just improves the sex drive and the whole thing about enjoying sex. And watermelon contains citrulline, which is converted into arginine. I made mention of that earlier on. It also contributes to relaxing the blood vessels, just like Viagra effect. So these are foods that when we include in our daily life can have some positive impact on our sexual lives. Another good one is broccoli because of indole-3-carbinol, which helps reduce estrogen levels. So there'll be favoring of testosterone, which is the male sex hormone, and it's definitely boosts libido. Now, let's also watch out for sex drive killers, right?
Yes, Mr. Vice, just before you continue, I've got a question. No question. I don't know if you can help clarify that. So there are these things online that you see a lot of all these online nutritionists do, and they make a lot of drinks. They make it out of I think it's tiger nuts and dates and coconut and things like that, and they blend it up and they tell you that, oh, it's very healthy for the men, for sex drive and things like that. So I don't know, is that true? Because I've never actually really paid attention. When I say it, I just say, oh, this online nutritionist. I've never really paid attention to it to say, oh, what exactly is happening there? Is it actually really a thing?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sylvia, for the observation. Yeah, not all of them can be trusted to deliver the goods. But then if you have some of the preparations with something like tiger nut in, tiger nut has high energy levels. So when you blend it, it can really energize you. It's just like someone drinking alcohol and going to perform a task. So you can have that boost, that extra edge or energy, and then that can push you. Probably at the end of the day, it can make you do something hard. And so people cash in on some of those effects, right?
Right.
I want to also believe that some people would have done some search into the effects of the various foods or food products that they may blend or make into the concoctions. Then they believe that probably they harness some of the nutrients in there that can have certain effects on blood levels and all those kind of things, right? But then I think we should always just check some of these things with our local nutritionists and be sure that we are going in for some good stuff. But then I don't really like extreme solutions to health problems. Some of them come as extreme solutions, like extreme dieting and stuff like that, and they may end up leaving effects, and they don't give you the goods for long, right? So you look for simple ways to tackle the issues that you can continue practicing, because the challenges that we are confronted with, they are lifelong. So you don't want to crash it today, then tomorrow it comes back and all that, right? So that's a bit I can say about that. Let's be careful. Let's search more.
I totally agree with you about being careful, because the funny thing is most of those products, they don't advertise them in the way you have now listed out different food items and what they contain and how they can be helpful. They don't advertise them like that. The way they advertise them are, oh, they are aphrodisiacs. That's how they say it basically, but they are not telling us that, oh, there's more to it, whether they are nutrients that are beneficial or not. They don't give us that information. Thank you very much. Yeah. Just needed to
Welcome.
clarify that.
Welcome. So men, for our own health and well-being, you know how it feels like if sex doesn't go well, we are not ourselves. We are not good. We are not healthy, right? So let's make sure that we watch out for the sex drive killers. Something like excessive weight. So you manage your weight, and then so that you can have good endurance. Like Emmanuel mentioned, you do aerobics, you have muscles. He said something that it makes you feel good. It boosts your self-esteem, and that alone is good at being able to maneuver and perform well sexually. So excessive weight, we need to kill it. And poor diets, I mean, let's not go for unhealthy, fatty, junk food. No, let's concentrate on rich, organic, homemade, healthy foods with less salt and all these things. And then exercising regularly will boost your hormone levels and make you better. So little to no exercise is a no. And then poor sleep habits is also not good. Dehydration is not good. You should always make sure that we are well hydrated. And then overconsumption of caffeine and alcohol, that should be checked. And then unhealthy relationships. So you don't want to expose yourself to STDs when it comes to sex and all that. So all this borders around our health as men. So we should be very, very careful. I saw a quote somewhere that if you purchased your own barbering kits, let's say the barbering machine and all the stuff that the barbers use, you have your own set that you take every week to the barber, or every time you go to the barber, you take that. But you're the same person that will have unprotected sex. You are not doing any good to yourself, right? So let's really, really engage in practicing safe sex, like I put over here. You must abstain when it is not a game. And then there's a need to keep to one partner, because having multiple partners only exposes you unnecessarily. There's a need to use condoms when necessary, and then not engage in sexual harassment. And when someone says no, they mean no. No means no, right? And when it comes to the subject matter of sex, I think this generation really, really has overhyped it. So some people feel that they will die if they don't have sex. No, you will live. There's nothing like that, right? So we should really, really on the kind of attention that we give to our sexual lives. Let's have simple ones and we get going. There's so much more to do in this life than have sex. Thank you. And also, we are moving on now to the burden of non-communicable diseases. NCD means non-communicable diseases. Working towards the attainment of a normal BMI is a necessary step towards dealing with NCDs. And the burden of NCDs on men is so huge, right? So we must work towards gaining the right body mass index. So weight divided by height squared, then you know your BMI should be within the normal. You work towards declining if you are overweight, declining when you're obese and all that. So not eating the night, checking your food portions, cutting down on fried foods, including a lot of roughage or fiber, and then cutting down on sugar sweetened beverages, cutting down on alcohol, which I mentioned earlier, and then engaging in exercise, both aerobic and anaerobic. So the walking and all that, and then lifting some small weights. You can even own some dumbbells at home, like the 3 kg dumbbell, which is easy to lift, or 5 kg. You do some every now and then, and that will be very, very good for you. Minimizing salts, processed food, and vended food intake aids in hypertension management. And in certain jurisdictions, the word hypertension is synonymous to men. So it's like, I mean, men's problem. Meanwhile, it affects both genders. But then we should really, when you ask me growing up, I mean, when you mention hypertension, it's my dad that comes to mind, even though my mom is also hypertensive, right? So we have to really, really pay attention to our food, reduce salt intake, cut down on processed food or buying of food and all that, so that we can manage the BP as well. And then eating less sugar and sugary drinks and less alcohol helps in pre-diabetes management. Pre-diabetes simply means the body blowing an alarm that diabetes is coming tomorrow. Diabetes is coming tomorrow. Do something. Diabetes is coming. Do something. Now, if you do something, it will stop. But if you don't listen to the alarm, like we all do when the wake-up alarm blows, we turn it off and continue sleeping. If you do something like that, then pre-diabetes will become diabetes, right? So let's manage our weight. Losing a little weight also helps in transitioning from the pre-diabetic stage back to normal, and also exercising regularly, eating a lot of foods that contain fiber, and that can really help. And also in even managing diabetes, avoiding sugar, eating a lot of roughage. I mentioned some of them earlier, the oatmeal, the leafy vegetables, the salads, and all that can really, really be a plus, right? So if you have diabetes, hypertension, manage them well so that you also not get or develop kidney diseases that result from the wrong or the improper management of those two conditions. Being regular with meals works in a way to speed up our metabolic rate. So it's always advisable to eat something little in the morning, a little in the afternoon, a little in the evening before 7 p.m. Morning eating is so important because nobody eats lunch at midnight. So when we wake up, it's very, very good for our system, our brain especially, to break the fast by eating breakfast. It can be just something little so the body gets natural energy. If that doesn't take place, the body then begins to fend for itself because the brain has to be given its glucose, which is the only source of energy. And when those processes are going on, you can even increase your cholesterol. You can cause a lot of issues for yourself, right? So boosting the metabolic rate by exercising and doing the food, eating on the right time and all that is also important. And daily fruit intake, it builds our immunity, builds our blood levels, gives us potassium, which can manage our hypertension or help the way our muscles work and all that. So let's include fruits. For many of us, intake of fruits is like the way our forefathers used to eat fruits, the hunters and gatherers. So it is when we gather some once a while that we eat. It's not the best. But then fruit intake has to be a daily activity. Then we make sure that we gain or take in all the required servings of fruits in a particular day so that we can also benefit so well from all that fruits have to offer us. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Wise, we've got Dr. Hiba has got her hand up. So I think she's got a question. Yes, Dr. Hiba.
I do. Thanks, Wise, for the presentation. And I really like that example you gave because I've had quite recently, I had not even once, people asking me questions about the hunter-gatherers that you're just talking about. You know, they used not to eat fruits every day. They were gathering it once in a while. And we're not getting all of these NCDs, I mean, hypertensions and then the type 2 diabetes. Please, what are your thoughts about this? Why can't we eat like them? You know, and still be healthy? Why are things different now?
Yeah. Thank you, Hiba. The level of activity then was very high. So our forefathers used to suffer a lot. They could walk from London to Accra. They could walk from, city to city. I just cited those two examples to just give you an idea how much walking they were engaged in. So the amount of walking they did, I'm sure, is one of the major reasons why the burden of NCDs was low among their time. But then let's also not forget the fact that with advancement in living, in technology and all that, we are doing more screening now. So we actually detect the conditions, but then formerly they were not really able to screen and get to know what was actually worrying them. But fact still remains that they suffered less, they lived longer and all that. So we have to go back to eating like the way they ate. They were not so much into the frying. They do more roasting and all that. But if I want to ask all of us on the call today, when was the last time we ate something that was charcoal grilled or roasted? I'm sure the answer will be no. But that is how they ate. They roasted their carbs, like yam and all that, and they'll eat it without the fried and oily stews and all that. So there's a lot. So most of the recommendations that we'll give out will just be like how they used to eat, right? So let's do them. Now we have to do the exercise to make for the lack of physical activity, which they had plenty, we have little. I was talking to somebody in my house the last time who wants to buy something from the area. The person will go and take one of the cars and then they are on the way. I actually want them that, no, you can just walk to this place. Don't you see me doing it? I try to show by example that not every distance. I'm not going far, I don't drive. You walk. But then because of luxury and all that, we are not walking, right? So let's walk. Let's aim for so many steps a day. These days we can count our steps on our wrists, on our phones and all that. Then we should harness the positive side of the technology that we have. And I'm sure it will really, really improve our health. Thank you.
Mr. Vice, we've got a question. Sorry to just, I know you finished, but we've got one question. I'm really intrigued by this. So Hazel says, do men experience natural body changes when they get older? You know how with women, we tend to, when you get to a certain age, you experience menopause. So she says, I do hear the saying he's suffering from man flu. Your explanation will be greatly appreciated. Yes, she wants to know. I'm curious also.
Okay. So I don't know about, I know of menopause. I don't know of womenopause in men. But then our bodies get weaker as we age, both men and women. There is a tendency for, or the affinity for fat, which even if you look at the basic body composition, we tend to store more fats. My face looks a lot more rounder now that I've turned 40 years compared to when I was in my 30s, right? Not because my body has become bigger, but because as we age, the body has that affinity to store more fat. And once you have that affinity for fat and it's happening, muscle bulk or mass will be reducing, and that reduces strength. Right, so we get weaker. That is why we are stronger physically than our grandfathers, than our fathers, right? Now, if you listen to your body, you notice that as you age, you get weaker. So that's a very good observation. So that's why we have to do most of the hard work whilst we are still young, and then learn to also relax when we grow older. Thank you. So on my, I hope I can continue.
Yes, you can. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you too. So so these are bad fats. I've moved now to prostate cancer. Sorry. Yes, so prostate cancer is one of the health conditions that men suffer as they age. Men above 60 and above 40, we are encouraged to screen and do that at least once a year. At least do the PSA and then do the digital rectal exam. Not just the PSA, digital rectal exam as well, because sometimes the outcomes of PSA are not indicative of disease or cancer. So we have to do all the recommended forms of screening so that we ensure that our prostates are healthy. Like when it comes to nutrition, what should we do? There's a need for us to eat less trans fats and saturated fats. So what are the trans fats? The kind of fats in margarines and overheated oils and all that. The kind of fats in meat, in the pork that men cherish with alcohol a lot and all that. So we have to go low on some of them and focus more on omega-3 fatty acids and other healthy fatty acids, and from nuts, from seeds, and from fish. So salmon, for example, has oil, which is very, very healthy fats, can give us a lot of omega-3, and other fishes, fresh tilapia and all that. So fresh fish soup, or we grill it slightly, that is also something we should be consuming to ensure that our prostate is healthy. Some clinical trials have suggested that soy may lower PSA levels, and that green tea. So two nutrients that are mentioned here, soy and then green tea. But then it doesn't call for us to abuse any of this stuff. Green tea still has some caffeine, so you don't abuse it. You just include it lightly or moderately, and I'm sure it will be healthy. Thank you. And then charred meats from frying or grilling at high temperatures may produce a chemical compound that leads to cancer. So there's a lot about smoking and grilling, and there are linkages to cancer and all that. Please, let's just make sure that we grill, I mean, maybe under low heat, not that the ones that will make the whole food so smoky and charred and all that, not extreme case. I know people have preference for some of those things, but then let's just be very, very moderate in our approach to some of this stuff. And now when you're grilling, make sure that the whatever you're grilling, the oil drains out. So that should be one of the benefits, one of the ways that grilled stuff should improve our health. Not that the meat will be fatty, like one of the ones in my picture, and then you grill it. So you grill the fat and you enjoy it. That can be very dangerous as well. So according to the World Health Organization, alcohol usage in men, I've just shifted to that now. These are alcohol facts from WHO. The harmful use of alcohol is a causal factor in more than 200 diseases and injury conditions. Worldwide, 3 million of deaths, that's 5.3 of deaths every year result from harmful use of alcohol. And overall, 5.1% of the global burden of disease and injury is attributable to alcohol use. Beyond health consequences, the harmful use of alcohol brings significant social and economic losses to individuals and society at large. In people aged 20 to 39 years, approximately 13.5% of total deaths are attributable to alcohol. And there is a causal relationship between harmful use of alcohol and a range of mental and behavioral disorders, other non-communicable conditions and injuries, right? So when you drink alcohol and you're tipsy, you can misbehave and all that. That's even a misbehavior, right? So we just have to come back to what the recommendations say. If you ask me, you want me to recommend, I'll say don't drink alcohol at all. But then the UK NHS recommends that no more than 40 units of alcohol a week spread across 3 days or more. That's around 6 medium 175 ml glass of wine or 6 pints of 4% beer. There's no completely safe level of drinking, but sticking with these guidelines lowers your risk and of harming your body. If you ask me to do a presentation on the last points, I can spend 1 hour talking about it. It simply means don't drink alcohol, because this research cannot really set safe limits for you, right? But we are forced to come out with some recommendations because people must drink by all means. But those people who should drink by all means, gentlemen on the call, it shouldn't be you. So let's work towards not drinking alcohol. So this is just to give a little bit of education on the what unit means and all that. And so if you look at the standard beer, that's about 2.8 units. So the unit is 10 mils of pure alcohol contained in that. So that's 2.8 units means nearly 30 mils of pure alcohol in standard beer jar. And a glass of wine has 2.1 units and stuff like that, right? So if you really, really want to be healthy, then alcohol shouldn't be what you should be depending on. Avoid alcohol, because any presentation I thought we make or I listen to on this channel on any condition, there's the mention of how bad alcohol is, right? So let's be careful. Now, nutrition, in summary, my summary is just this page. Nutrition and nutritional factors have a big say.
Sorry, just before we go into summary, I think Emmanuel has got his hand up. He's got a question.
Okay.
Emmanuel, can you hear?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you skipped my question. I don't know if you saw that.
The one in the chat box.
That if empty pockets.
Okay. Mr. Wise, Emmanuel is asking, can empty pockets affect your sex drive?
Definitely, it can, because I mean, we have sex with a woman. If you have empty pockets, the woman is hungry, she will not be happy, she won't participate. By all means, it will negatively affect your sex drive. So, but then the opposite rather happens to men. When the pocket is full, then it gives us too much drive. and can also send us to the wrong places. So let's just balance the two very well. Right. Thank you very much for the question, Emmanuel.
And also the last thing had to do with this menopause, the male menopause thing. I think from what I've read, the term for it is just in andropause, where yes, as we grow, our testosterone level decreases, and you know what are the consequences? Okay,
Yes.
so I'll leave it. Thank you.
Yeah. So yes, so that's a valid point. The consequences, one of them will be the low sex drives, because even in women, it's the testosterone level that gives them a drive. So if men lose theirs, then they don't have the drive at all, right? So that's one of the. Then it also affects muscle bulk and all that, things that make you a man. It can actually have an effect on reproduction as well, negative effect on ability to produce viable sperms and all that, right? So all this come with growing up. Thank you. Yeah, so Sylvia, I believe I can summarize now.
Yes, you can summarize
okay.
now. Yes, thank you.
So in summary, very, very simple summary. I say nutrition and nutritional factors have a big say in how healthy men become. So number one, eat healthy, meaning that your food should give you all the 6 nutrients. You have your plates that should ask yourself whether you get carbohydrates, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, and water. Then you are set. Then you see your dietitian in your area, can talk to Sylvia, and they can put you on the right path, so that they put in the country guidelines and all that to get you on the right way to eat well. Drink safely. So I didn't talk about soft drinks much, but then I want to emphasize on that in the summary. I mean, we all know how bad alcohol is. If there's a word like badder, soft drinks are badder. So the right thing is more bad, right? So let's be careful how we drink. And these days, I advise people to do more natural drinks that can be made from herbs and spices, from hibiscus leaves, sobolo, and all those kind of things, but with very little sugar. Okay. Then exercise regularly. Remember, I said about walking out in the open, walking by the beach, and then walking in the woods. Very, very important. And then live well. Also involves being responsible sexually and being less risky. As men, we take too much risk sometimes. So let's just risk actually shortens life, or uncalculated risk can shorten your life. So let's be very measured in the risks that we take. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wise. Thank you for that brilliant and very insightful session. I hope that all the men here and even we as women can take this information and use it very good. I was going to ask a question. So if anybody has any questions or any comments they'd like to make, you can pop it in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic and ask a question. So when you spoke about the non-communicable diseases, aside from hypertension, what other diseases are there? Like, what other diseases should men be watching out for?
Yeah. So the burden of the cancers, not only prostates, I mean, testicular cancer and all the throat cancers and all that. A lot of the bad effects of stress result in some of these cancers. So we are stressed, then free radicals are produced, and then they attack our cells and all that. So if you manage stress, it can really help us. There's also the burden of kidney disease, which results, I mentioned in passing, from uncontrolled hypertension and diabetes. But I'll hammer more or stress more on uncontrolled hypertension because of some of the things that drive men to drop or ditch their hypertensive medications, and then it becomes complicated, leading to some of these conditions, right? So kidney disease is also there. And the list can go on and on.
Sorry, just to cut you short, Mr. White. Can you stop sharing your screen?
Okay.
Right. Okay. Much better now. Yeah.
Yeah, so those are on top of my mind. Those are some of the other conditions. There are also issues of the joints, especially as we age, gouty arthritis and all that. And obesity is we cannot overemphasize. We have to always talk about it. And the heart conditions and all that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. So I think now we also now have that at the back of our mind and have that knowledge that it's not just about eating healthy or living a healthy lifestyle. We need to do that in order to avoid these non-communicable diseases and to have a healthy life. Thank you very much, Mr. Wise, for sharing. Has anybody got any other questions or any comments? Anything they'd like to add? Okay, none. So just to mention, if you've also got any topics, if there are any areas that you would like us to focus on or have this help to talk about, a session about, please you can pop that into the chat box, or you can pop that also on our WhatsApp group chat so we can prepare for that session. And then just to let you are all aware, we will be having a similar session like this next week, Tuesday, but focusing on women. So optimizing nutrition for women's health. As we have done men today, we will focus on women next Tuesday. So please do join the session next Tuesday so you can get more information about women's health also. Thank you so much, Mr. Wise. Have we got any other questions or any comments? Anything at all before we hand over to, okay, Dr. Hiba's got her hand up. Yes, Dr. Hiba.
Yes, I think that Wise has already alluded to this, but because we are ending the session, I wonder if you could just reiterate if there is or there isn't any foods that men can eat to boost libido. I know you touched on it, but if you had to summarize, what would you say about that? Is there anything nutritionally to boost libido for men or not? If it's a myth, just so we know that it's a myth. And ultimately, what is important is just being eating well. Or should people be going out to look for specific items?
Yeah. So I think the last part of your submission will sum it up for me better. There are nutritional factors that can improve the whole process, but then there aren't nutritional pills, let me put it that way, that can just boost libido. Everything should be found in the context of a healthy, well-balanced meal. So the nutrients that are required and all that like I mentioned and alluded to earlier. So let's focus more on eating well, having the right body, exercising and all that. And I'm sure we'll be right. But then I'll not say, even though I give you examples of the nuts, the fruits, watermelon and all that, I'm not saying that when you eat it, it's going to really give you some energy or some boost right away. So that if someone does it and doesn't get a boost, then they say I'm lying. No, you will gain those benefits little by little, right? But then please, let's put everything in the context of healthy eating and healthy living. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wise, for that amazing, beautiful session. So please, let's not forget to join the session next week, Tuesday, focusing on women's health. I'll be handing over to Orlando now for a bit of physical activity. Orlando.
Thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's fitness session. Hope everybody will stay and take part in tonight's upper body circuit. So we're working the upper body today. We're going to get hench for the summer. All right. So for today's session, all you'll need is a mat, plenty of space, and plenty of water. Okay. So let's get started. Just it's 1:30 on the dot. So I'm going to turn my chins up. So as normal people, we're going to start off with our warm-up, okay? We're going to start off with calf star jumps, okay? We're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Let's get the blood flowing now. Let's go. Nice and light start off with. Let's go, people. 10 seconds. 2, 1. Let's go alternate high knees. Let's go, people. Just like it ain't G-Wagon out of me, out of me, out of me. 3, 2, 1. Side step. Let's go. Nice and long. This money on my head, what is that to me? I put 100 bands on him, put a rap on me. We go to a different world, but it's a mess to me. 10 seconds, people. Turn off back on me. 2, 1. And rest that, people. Rest for 15 seconds. Five seconds. Okay, let's get back into our warm-up, people. So now we're going to start on our tiptoes. I'm just going to walk 30 seconds. Let's go. Keep stepping, people. Stay on those tiptoes. 3, 2, 1. Okay, swinging our arms forward now. And backwards. Turn the waist down. Change direction. Front to back. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, people, take a 20-second water break and then join me for circuit number 1. Well done, people. Okay, my people, Khan family, join me back in your spaces right now. Let's get busy now, okay? So we've got 2 circuits to get through tonight. Each circuit consists of 4 different exercises, all right? Each exercise we're going to run for 60 seconds, okay? 60 seconds, and we'll have a 15 to 20-second break in between exercises. All right, so round 1, first 2 moves, okay? We're going to start off with the Arnold press. So we're going to be in a slight dip with the knees here, slight dip, arms start in front, and we're going from here, bang, to there, press, back to the middle, press, back to the middle. If you have any weights, dumbbells or kettlebells lying around, you can bring those in now for these exercises. So we're starting here, 60 seconds. From there, we're going to go to bent over rows, okay? So working the back now. So again, dip in the knees, slight dip in the hips, I'm gonna pull, bang, nice and strong. Okay, so from Arnold press to bent over rows. Those are your first two moves, people. All right, let me turn my tunes back up. Let's get into it now. Let's get into it now.
Original, then you want a replica.
Get ready now, people. Start with Arnold pressing 3, 2, 1, go.
They never had a pretty girl from Joburg to me now, and that's what they prefer. Don't touch my wheel, cause I got a chauffeur. So fast, how I get around the world. Just mess with the drama.
Let's go, people.
Cause we about to pour the runs up. Sometimes it's
You keep going, people. Let's go. 20 seconds to go. 15 seconds, people. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, rest there for 15 seconds, people. 15-second break. Check those out. Okay, get ready. Bent on the rows in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's go, people. Let's go, people. 20 seconds left.
Original, then you want a replica. Smoothing, regular, gelato. Real, chip on my cellular.
Let's go, people. 2, 1. Rest right there. 20 seconds rest, people. So listening, people, while you rest. Next two moves are on the mat. Okay, so we're here. We've got press-ups. Okay, neutral. Here. We're gonna go down on the knees. 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on. Hips and shoulders go down at the same time. 1, 2, 1, 2. From there, we've got a plank. So we're gonna go 30 seconds here on the knees. 30 seconds here. Go. Okay, start with your press-ups. Get ready, people. We're going 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Press-ups.
To show me that you understand. Can you blow my mind? Say you will hold my
Let's go, people.
Can you say you'll go from me? I don't want take me with you.
Let's go, people. 15 seconds. Keep pushing up. Let's go. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, rest for 15, people. 15 seconds rest. Rest, people. Okay, let's go plank. Let's go. 2, 1, go. Keep that core engaged. Nice strong arms. Oh. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Slow down. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. So rest for 30 seconds, people, and then join me for round number 2. Well done. Ten seconds, people. Okay, people. Back to your spaces now. Okay, let's get into round number 2. Okay, so don't need any mats for this one. Okay, we're going to be standing. All right, so first 2 moves coming your way. I'm going to start off with upright rows. Okay, so we're going here, hands in front. We're going to drag the hands right up to the chest. Squeeze. Okay, elbows flare out. Up again, elbows flare out. Okay, from there, we've got lateral shoulder raises. So we're going to be here, arms by the side. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so from upright rows, squeeze to lateral raises. All right, people, let's get busy now. Turn my tune back up. Get ready, we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Upright row, let's go. Because I have been in love and in love and in love you. Because I need and I need and I need you more. You know I'm burning, burning, burning. What be on figure out, figure out. Keep that going, people. Halfway now, keep that going. You got me inside now. Yes, I'm living right now. Keep going, people. 10 seconds. 2, 1. Rest there for 15 seconds, people. Lateral shoulder raises coming up next. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. You, baby, I love you. Keep going, people. Let's go. Halfway now. You 20 seconds to go, people. Original, you wanna replica, no. Swing D, regular, no. They never had a pretty girl. 10 seconds. Now, and that's what they prefer. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Now rest there, people, rest there. Okay, 2 moves to go, people, 2 moves to go. So next move, we've got tricep kickbacks, So when we hit it, both elbows bent, we're going to extend like so. Extend. Extend. Okay, and from there, we have reverse flies. So we're going to go here, arms start in the middle, here. But now. Okay. Next, kickbacks. So reverse flies. Okay, last 2 moves, people, get ready. 3, 2, 1. Start with the kickback. Let's go. Keep on, people. Halfway now, people. 20 seconds to go. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Rest for 15 seconds, people. Last one, reverse flies to finish. Get ready to go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Keep going, people. Almost there now. Halfway. $15 seconds. Last 10 seconds, people. Three, 2, 1. And that's time, people. Well done. Take a 30-second water break, and then we'll stretch off. Well done.
This is my decision. This is my decision. I don't think you listen. You listen. I don't think you listen. For me to come back, it must be
Okay, people, join me back in your spaces. Let's stretch the body up now. We're going to go from the bottom upwards now. Okay, so we'll start off with slow high knees. Calm the body down now. Okay, hips side to side. And around now. Change direction. Okay, to the hands now. Interlock your fingers. Push right down. Okay, twist and draw the hands up. Both sides. Okay, point fingers apart. Left arm across the chest. Pull just beside the elbow. Same arm behind the head, pull the elbow. Change arms. Same arm behind the head, pull down. Last one now. Bring our neck side to side like so. Three, two, one, and time, people. Shake it all off. And that's time, my people. Finish now. Do we have any questions, any comments? Feel free to unmute yourself, my people. Good session tonight, upper body, feeling good. But no one tonight. All right, people, hope everyone enjoyed the session, whether you were on Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. Make sure you join us next week, 6:30 till 8 p.m., where the first hour is reserved for our seminar with 30 minutes with me, some physical activity. Until then, people, enjoy the rest of your evening, weekend, and I will see you next week. Well done. Peace.